Hello everybody, welcome back to Plot Twist, the channel where we talk all about plot, books, and anything that has to do with writing. So today I'm doing something a little bit differently. I know I mostly talk about my book hauls and review books that I've read and talk about their plots and things like that, but Jesse over at Bartell's Bookshelf was kind enough, we'll go with that, to tag me in a book tag. This one I believe was started by Criminali, and it's a tag about trashy books and why we love/hate/love to hate them. So I was actually kind of excited about this one, just because, trashy books are fun. They're fun to read, because there's no real obligation to enjoy them. You can just read it for fun. You can read it to laugh at it. You can read it to just see how far they can go. And since art is subjective and writing is art, anything can be trash and anything can be a treasure. So it doesn't matter what book out there, even if the majority of people agree that it is trash, or if the majority of people agree that it's wonderful, it's going to be trash to somebody and it's going to be a treasure to somebody else. So that's why reading trashy books is so fun. Alright, so actually, let's just go ahead and get into this. Question 1. Trashy books are often dismissed by the critics. What's a book which is regarded as trash, which you think has artistic value? This one, right out the gate, it's a difficult question. I kind of regard genres and specifically that are trash. I actually really like shifter romances, which I know is stupid, but I think they do have merit, because they combine fantasy and romance, and who doesn't love a good romance besides maybe the ace community, I'm sure, but that's okay. I'm sure a lot of them appreciate the relationship, at least. But I think they're really actually kind of important because they provide a critical niche, I suppose is the good word to use for here. They allow writers to have the impassioned romances and the impassioned scenes and things like that, heartfelt moments, while also allowing them to be creative in their worlds. So you have the magic systems, or however they want to perceive a particular shifter race, things like that. So it's a lot of freedom that they being the writers, get to have. Which is why I love it so much, because I love seeing the creativity that a lot of writers have when they write these books. Do I wish that they were written better? Yes. But that said, not every book has to be impeccable in order to be good. I think a lot of the time it's the adventure of the book that makes it. So I can forgive a lot of stuff in books. As long as I'm entertained, I'm happy. Critics often love books with extreme or challenging content. Which critically praised book did you think was trash? I am going to get into so much trouble for this, but I hated Catcher in the Rye. I know it's a classic. I know it has merit. I know a lot of people praise it for its content about the class systems and things like that, but I wanted to punch Holden Caulfield in the face multiple times in the same sentence. My issue with Catcher in the Rye, while it is a good take on class systems, and overall it's a good insight to a pretty typical teenager, especially a pretty typical spoiled teenager. But that said, that's really all it is. That could have been an essay. Nothing happens. He goes on a three and a half page tangent about luggage and his sister for a while, and it goes nowhere, and the tie-in for Catcher in the Rye was just weird and felt tossed in. Granted, it's been a while since I read the book, so a bit of backstory before I go too much into this. I had an issue in middle school. I was a pretty advanced reader for my age. I love to read. I blame my mother entirely for all of this, because her passion of reading transferred over to me. That said, though, I was not exactly the most intelligent child. I had heard that in high school and college, we would be reading classics, or I should say we would be discussing classics. What that translated to in my tiny, smooth child brain was that I needed to know about the classics before I got there. I was not aware that they would give us the books and we would read them and then discuss all of that. So a lot of the classic books that people read in high school, I read in middle school because I thought I had to. So a lot of the classics I have read twice in my life. Unfortunately, that made me despise quite a few classics. Not to say that they don't have merit or anything like that. They're classics for a reason. That said, I still absolutely hated it. It was so boring. This rich brat running away from home and whining the entire time and complaining about dirty poverty people and his sister for some reason constantly. It was a mess. And admittedly, I have not read it in a long time. I may feel differently about it now, but that's my take. Question number 3. Not everyone approves of trashy books. What's a book you wouldn't read in public? I don't care. I will read anything I want in public. I've read kids' books in public. I've read erotica in public. I do not care. If you want to ask me about a book that I'm reading, that's on you. It's your fault. Really, Dritz? So it's your fault. You are going to hear about it, and I'm sorry. You're in public. People have taste. My cat apparently does not like this take. Oh, big boy. Oh, big boy. Yes, you are. So yeah, I really don't care what I read in public. If you want to ask me about it, just be prepared. Because I'm going to tell you what it's about, and it may not be nice. On the flip side, though, if you ask me what a book's about, as soon as I tell you that it's a good book and you should read it, I have no idea what the book's about. So I will do a horrible job of explaining what it is. Question number 4. Books about killer animals are almost always trashy. What animal would you least like to be attacked by? Okay. So, I probably put a lot more scientific thought into this than the question required. But I'm an animal lover, and I was originally going to school for zoology, so you're going to get an animal lesson. My top 5 animals that I would not want to meet in the wild, starting from number 5, orcas. I put them at number 5 because I'm very unlikely to meet an orca. That said, orcas are scary. They play with their food for fun. Sometimes they won't even eat it. Sometimes they're just messing with you. And a lot of the times they kill because it's fun. That said, it does make them sound terrible, but of course all animals have a purpose, and I wouldn't consider any animal evil. They're just very scary. Number 4, the African wild dog. African wild dogs do not stop. And by that I mean they just keep running, and running, and running, and running. So even if you're faster than them, they do not care. They will chase you down. If you are on their menu, you are dead. And they do not wait for you to die. They start at the back end, and they don't really care if you're dead or not, so they will literally eat you alive. Number 3 would be a moose. I generally have a policy to never mess with any prey item, because prey items are used to being attacked. And their fight or flight response is basically that. It's flight or fight. If they cannot fly, they will fight, and they make that decision in a snap moment, and sometimes they just choose fight. I have a general policy too with animals that if it's very tasty, do not mess with it, because it knows how to defend itself. My second would probably be an otter. I know that sounds weird, but I don't want to mess with otters. Otters roll in gangs. River otters, to be specific. Ocean-dwelling otters aren't that bad. I do not want to mess with otters because they just don't quit. They're going to make sure that the threat is gone. And also, they're very curious, and they're kind of difficult to determine when they're going to snap. And the number 1 that I would never want to mess with is a chimpanzee. I do not want to get on a chimpanzee's bad side. They will rip your face off. They will wear it. And then they will laugh at you while they do it. They are incredibly strong. They will just kind of throw you around like a little rag doll until you're dead. For the guys out there, they go for a particularly sensitive area. So yeah, I don't want to deal with chimps. So I know that was long, but I just wanted to let you know. There's a lot of animals that I won't mess with, but those are my top 5. Trashy books often flourish in specific genres. What's your favorite trashy subgenre? I kind of talked about this a little bit. I do like shifter romances or paranormal romances, just because they do, like I said, provide a lot of creativity for the authors. They just get to, just have fun with it, and you get to just have fun with it too. People complain about werewolves and the whole alpha male thing and stuff like that, and I'm just like, guys, they're werewolves, they don't exist, it doesn't matter. Also, they're half human as well, and humans like to have leaders, so who cares? So yeah, just, as long as it's creative and, you give me a fun adventure, then I don't really care. As long as you make your world specific, I'll say, and you follow your own rules, then it's fine. Number 6. Famous people love to milk their fans by publishing books. Which celebrity would you like to read a trashy novel by? This is kind of difficult. I don't really follow celebrities all that much, mostly because I'm face blind and I have trouble figuring out who they are outside of the movie. I don't know if he counts necessarily, but I think I'd like to read a trash novel by Daniel Green. I haven't actually read his actual novels yet. They're on my shelf. I have them over there. But yeah, I think Daniel Green could probably take all the trashiest elements and just make it the funnest thing ever. Either him, or I feel like Johnny Depp might have some wild fantasy, Alice in Wonderland-esque kind of ideas up there, which I would love to see written into a trashy novel. So either one of those two, I guess, would probably be my answer to that. Number 7. Trashy books have the best covers. Which book on your shelves has the trashiest cover? So, I picked out 2, because I don't think one counts, because it's technically not my book, but it was on my shelf. I borrowed this book for Garb August, also by Criminale, and I borrowed it from Jesse over at Bartell's Bookshelf, who, he didn't really buy it to read, I don't think, but he did buy it for the memes, I suppose. This Empress Teresa by Norman Boutin, I think is how you say his name. I don't know, I don't care. He will probably hate me for this. But just look at this. Look, what is this? Oh my god, her hand. Look at her hand. What is that? Yeah, these guys that look like they all broke their legs. And this building that's just there, and there's nothing else around. There's nothing going on. I'm not even all that well versed in U.S. military or anything like that, but I know her outfit is just completely wrong on all levels. Yeah, this is just probably trash. I mean, this whole book is probably trash, honestly. Well, I don't want to say probably. I know it's trash. But I wanted to read it for Garb August because I needed a laugh. And I have a thing about trashy books, trashy movies. I love watching and reading them because they're just hilarious. I absolutely have to see where it's going to go. I need to see how bad it's going to be. I want to know what was going to the author's head and everything like that. So I picked this one for that, but like I said, it's not really my book, so I didn't know if it counted or not. But this one is my book. And this one, I literally bought just for the cover because it was just wild. So it's Mary Stanton's The Heavenly Horse from the Outermost West. And I don't know what's happening here. I don't. I got 2 horses. One looks like a nightmare. I'm not sure what the other one is. And then 2 canids. It looks like a border collie and a dragon, I think. It's got scales. I'm not sure what that is. But those 2 things just fighting it out. There's a winter landscape happening. There's a cave. The title is just wild. I don't know what that means. But what kind of caught my interest in this is, if you loved Watership Down, this book is for you. What could this possibly have to do with Watership Down? What's with these 2 horses? Oh, I'm sorry. One of these horses has claws. I didn't even notice that. It just... I don't know. I saw this title, I saw this cover, and I just had to have it. The rainbow mane happening, the claws. It was just crazy. I needed this. Number 8. Trashy books often contain adult themes. What's a book you read before you were old enough to? Again, I was a very prolific reader at a young age. I was reading a lot of books that were above my age level. I actually skipped a lot of young adult books when I was a kid because I was reading above that already. And I know this sounds like a brag, but it's really not, because this did not help me at all in life. This is the most useless talent I have, and it's my only real talent. I read Romeo and Juliet when I was 7, so I guess that would probably be the most, I would say, book above my age. I understood quite a bit of it too. Like, obviously there were some things that I was missing just due to life experiences, but I had gotten the gist of it. I knew what was happening. I knew why it was happening. I didn't know a whole lot of the words, but I could tell through context what they meant or what they were talking about. Probably not something I should have read at that age, but something I did read. I think my mom thought I was a demon for a little while, but whatever. What mother doesn't think their child is a demon? If you were a character in a shifter romance, what creature would you want you or your partner to shift into? This is difficult. So dragons and wolves are my main thing, so it would probably either be a dragon or a wolf. John specifically, I would probably want to turn into a dragon, just because he has dreams about dragons and it makes me laugh. And also the idea of John being a dragon is just hilarious. For me in particular, I want to lean towards wolf just because wolves have always been my favorite, so like werewolf or something like that. But I kind of feel like I would go dragon just because I want to be able to fly and breathe fire or whatever other element I can use. Use magic and things like that. That would be probably the better option there. Alright, so the last thing is tag the trashiest booktubers you know. I unfortunately don't have a lot of booktuber friends, at least not any that I know would do this or haven't already done this. Most of the people I know are on the Criminale server, and I think most of them have done it, if not are going to. So yeah, just if you're watching this, have at it. I want to know your opinions. Please link me in the comments to your videos. I want to see all of them because I need everybody's answers to these questions. But yeah, so that's about it for today. I hope you all had fun with this, had fun with my answers. So yeah, that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and remember, keep reading.